Utilizing Moxibustion in your practice effectively builds your confidence as a practitioner, not just in TCM, but also in traditional Japanese medicine. And that's why today I made a video just for you to show you how to use Chinetsu to help release sebaceous buildup on the lower lid. It's also useful for things like styes in the eye pressure, eye strain, and all of these other things. Now, saying that, this is a very, very advanced technique, one that I learned while studying acupuncture and moxibustion at Toyo Shinkyu Senmon, a school in Japan specifically for traditional Japanese medicine. If you do not have a mentor currently teaching you moxibustion, I recommend watching this video to give you a little bit more excitement on building your moxa practice, but please be very careful to not use it on your clinical patients or friends and family even until you get that mentorship. This technique can be quite dangerous if not done correctly, and I just want to make sure everyone stays safe. Now, if you're really excited about building your moxibustion practice, I highly suggest checking out my quiz in the description box below. It's a completely free quiz that brings you to one of 3 webinars that are also completely free to help guide you towards your next goal in studying traditional Japanese medicine techniques like moxa, shonishin, bloodletting palpation, and hara diagnosis. Now, without further ado, let's get into
This treatment was very much focused on trying to get rid of this small sebaceous buildup that was on the lower lid. It had been there for almost a year and it was really, really bugging her. So I wanted to go at this the way I usually go after things like pink eye or styes, and I started using Chinetsu Kyu. Now, obviously, you can see that Chinetsu Kyu is not a safe form of moxa to do on the eyelid. So again, as a disclaimer, please do not do this technique in your clinic without mentorship of really being able to do this safely. Now, notice I'm holding on to the Chinetsu Kyu here. This is really because I'm just a little nervous that it's going to fall off of her eyelid, and I wanted to keep her very safe. And honestly, the eyelid is very, very sensitive to heat. So I figured, hey, it's a lot easier to just hold on to it. Maybe my fingers will be a little bit warm. As you can see, I'm kind of changing my position because it's warm. I'd rather keep my fingers a little bit too warm than ever have that moxa roll onto my client. Another really difficult thing about her is that her eyelid moves very rapidly, even though it is closed. And so I had to be extremely careful about, with those little rapid eyelid movements, having it roll onto her face. As you can see right here, it becomes a little unstable and falls off. I would never want that to happen to anybody in their practice or for their patients. So again, mentorship is key. Find a mentor. ShinKyu is a great place to learn mentorship in things that are more creative with moxibustion and really get your foundations strong. So I'm going to continue to do this. I've sped it up just a little bit here, just so you can start to understand how I'm using it. And then continuously with each cone, I have my client open up her eye, double check how that is feeling, because it really does feel a bit like a stye to her, and that she continually has a scratching feeling on the eyelid. So I'm just keep working on that each time, waiting for it to feel a little bit too warm. Again, be very careful of the eyelashes. You have to be careful with Chinetsu Kyu, anything on the eyelid, of course, that you could burn off the lashes, and that would be very uncomfortable to the client. Here you can see I actually took my cone off for a second. I wasn't satisfied with how it was sitting on the lid, and you can see me being able to burn it down a little bit lower now that I've understood how her eyelid is responding to the heat and how quickly it is feeling that heat. And so we're getting a little bit more progress here. It's feeling a lot better as we go through. Again, confirming with each. So we continue here with a little bit of a close-up so you can see and feel how this is happening for the client, right? You can also see a lot more specifically the rapid eyelid movement that happens, unfortunately, for this client. This is something that's very, very typical for her, and so you can see me being a little bit overzealous about reconnecting and replacing that Chinetsu Kyu cone. Sorry for my thumb being right in the middle of the video, by the way. Again, I'm holding my hand here to the left of her face to make sure that just in case that Chinetsu Kyu cone falls, it actually falls onto my hand rather than into her hair, which is where it would fall, and it could possibly burn her hair. Always trying to stay safe for the client. My rule of thumb for anybody I'm teaching moxa for is the moxa should burn the floor before it burns anything, and then it should burn you, then the bed, and finally never ever burn the patient. You want to be very, very careful about how you are doing mox around the patient. Now, with this close-up, you can start to see how she does have problems with her sebaceous glands and with oil production on her face. Some of these pimples that you can see are very deep within the skin structure. She has a lot of issues with the oil building up and then creating very deep, pocketed, almost cystic-like acne. And this happened for her later on in her life. Again, sorry for the thumb blocking the Chinetsu Kyu cone there. But what's happening on that lower lid is essentially what was happening on all of these other pimples. Now, that was there for a very long time. And when these get really bad, they last for about 6 months to a year, each of them. And then they finally break into a pimple and then go back and forth between healing. You can understand how uncomfortable that would be on the lower lid to consistently have something that your eyelid is pushing against the eyeball. It's very, very uncomfortable. Now here again, holding my left hand to the left side of her face, because I know if that moxa rolls, I know it's going to roll onto me. I would rather be burned than ever have my patient be burned. And then I am hovering my hand. I don't normally hover my hand with Chinetsu Kyu, but this is a very specific case. The eyelid is not a safe place to be doing mox on. It does feel amazing. Every time you do it, you actually feel like there's more fluid production. And here I just want to point out that now that sebaceous gland almost looks like it has a whitehead on it, like it's about to pop. And then the redness has really started to resolve, and she started to get some production of gunk coming out of her eye, and that's actually that gland starting to produce.
I hope this video gave you a little bit more excitement and imagination in how to use your moxa more widely in your current acupuncture practice. Now, again, this practice is for those who have received mentorship with using Chinetsu Kyu and, more importantly, with treating the eye directly. So if you haven't received these two things, please do be careful about utilizing it on yourself, your friends and family, or your clients in order to keep everybody as safe as possible. Now, saying that, if you're really interested in continuing your traditional Japanese medicine education, I highly suggest checking out my free webinars. They're linked in the description box below. All you have to do is simply take a quiz, and then I will direct you immediately to a free webinar that will most likely match up to your current skill level and what you're learning to expand on. You can also check out all of the offerings, including the entire mentorship and in-person workshops, over at my page at shinkyuuni.com, also linked in the description box below. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you're interested in going back and really fueling and creating your Chinetsu Kyu practice, you're going to want to watch this video right over here.